that we know to some extent what Praat is. So I'll be sharing my video very soon, but pending the time, I'm trying to set up my PC. Sorry for the whole stress, the light thing. So so let me just talk a bit about acoustics, and then we'll get started from there in my practice of it. So acoustic phonetics, basically, I believe you remember the three basic divisions of phonetics. We have auditory phonetics, we have articulatory phonetics, and we have acoustic. Articulatory phonetics, how we human beings speak, how we articulate speech sounds, and then auditory phonetics deals with how speech sounds are perceived by human, by the human ear and all that. While acoustics now deals with the physical properties of speech sounds, which is what we're here to look at. So while we're dealing with acoustics, we would have to deal with issues like waveforms, spectrographs, and spectrograms, and all that, right? So that is what is more important. And why, I'm sure a lot of people will be thinking, okay, why is this guy why are we dealing with Praat first? Why are we talking about Praat instead of just dealing with spectrographs immediately? I am doing that because using Praat, understanding Praat is essential. Please, can we all just mute ourselves? Okay, let me know. Please, let's just mute ourselves wherever we are. Please, let's just mute ourselves as we come in. Unista Jimeji, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Thank you very much. Please mute yourself so that the whole thing can be better. Thank you very much. All right, so let's continue. Yeah, so I was saying that I talked about the three basic divisions of phonetics. So we talk about acoustics, articulatory, and auditory. And what our main concern is acoustic phonetics. So Praat, what is Praat really? Praat is a tool. Praat is just a tool for acoustic analysis. There are a lot of tools that we can use for acoustic analysis, but Praat is more or less like the should I say a profession standard. Not like there are no other tools. At least I recently came across some. I came across one recently, SPAR. I think it also does some of these things, But it's just like a lot of persons use Praat within the field and outside the field. That's why I'm talking about practicing. And if you can, I believe you guys can see me now. So if you check the folder, there's a folder for resources. There's a folder for resources. Please just drop within the chat box if you can hear me. Please just let me know. If you can hear me, just let me know within the chat. So in the general space. So there are things that we need to know when it comes to using Praat. Okay, just click on, I think it should be there. It should be at the top. It should be at the top. The chat box should be at, unless you're using an updated Telegram. Okay, let me see if I can add other persons. Sorry. Let me see if I can add other persons. Well, I don't know. The stuff should be at the top. Particularly if you're using your phone, the stuff should be at the top, or you can just join in the chat. So, but I'm trusting that the stuff will be recorded so we can have it later on to watch. Okay, so now we're talking about Praat, right? What is Praat and all that? So Praat is like the industry standard for a lot of these things, and we just use it for acoustic analysis, basically. So if you have to install Praat, I already downloaded them and sent to the resources section. So we have them there. So you can just pick them, download whichever one you will fit for your system. Use a 64-bit Windows. You have the one that you use a 32-bit. You have it there. And if you're a Mac user, you also have it there. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. so that we could see how to work with it, and then from there we'll look at reading formats. Okay, so we'll start with that. So let me share my screen. Please, I hope you're following me. 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 All right. Thank you. Okay, so you can just, I don't know if Adeyemi has been able to join now, because I know Adeyemi said at that time that she can't join me. So please just try to join it. All right. So I believe you guys can see my screen now. So this is Praat. So how do you install Praat? First of all, once you download the stuff, just unzip. Just once you unzip it, you're fine. Once you zip it, just double click. It works the same way for every of these files. Okay. So this is Praat. Okay. Once I install Praat, I just double click, like how you run every other software, and Praat starts running. So that's how it works. Please, I would love to know if you are following me. Please, just let me know if you are following me. Just let me know if you are following me. You can just drop something to let me know if you are following me. Right. So now we'll start with well, basically, guys, because of the time limit we have, and because of the exams that are forthcoming, just have to go straight to what I'll jump some other things. Maybe if we are privileged to have another session, we talk about other things concerning Praat. But for now, let's just get straight to recognizing spectrograms. And with that, I would have to record. Let me see if I can record. If I can record, I'll see if I can import an already existing file that I have to use for the project. Okay, so with that, we just, because I don't want to waste your time. All right, but let me see if I can report new sound. Okay, so I'm just going to record right straight from here. Someone is not muted. Ade Oba. Ade Oba. Sorry, I'm just going to record that. Ade Oba. Ade Oba. I'm going to record that. Okay. So I'm just going to use Yoruba. Okay. So because of the variety of things you might be told to deal with, so let me use a full sentence. James said he was going to come to school. James said he was going to come to school. All right, so I'm done. I saved to list the close. Need to readjust. So you can see now that there's something here. So we'll talk about this maybe later on. Okay, so I'll just have to change the way I'm sharing the screen. You guys just give me a minute, please. Sorry, can you guys hear me now? Sorry, my PC was hanging. Sorry, so sorry. All right, so yep. So I wanted to talk about yes. I wanted to share my screen. All right, I believe you all can see this. I believe you all should be able to see this. Um, so now what you are seeing is a basic fact screen. Okay, this is where the whole spectrographs happen and all that. Thank you very much for the feedback, Ajay. This is where everything happens. Okay, so this is where we're going to talk about spectrographs, right? Now, so let me just change my screen sharing to the whole of my screen because a lot of things will be going on underneath. Okay, so yes, so now you guys can see this. Now, this up here, this blue stuff is the waveform. Okay, that's the waveform. This here is our spectrogram. That's where we're really concerned about. So let me just zoom in and then we'll begin to see how it works. Sorry. Now let me play the whole file. First of all, James said he was going to come to school. All right, so let me play it again. James said he was going to come to school. Please let me know. Did you hear what I just played? Please let me know if you just heard if you heard what I just played. Please let me know. Did you hear the sound file that I played? I'm waiting for responses. And also, so please, if you can see the Praat screen, let me know. Okay, Ajay, thank you. Esther, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, James said he was going to come to school. All right. So how then do we know which is which? All right. So let me play this. Yeah. James said. James said. So that means within that phrase we have something like an affricate. That's the jar. We have a vowel. We have a fricative. That's the sa. We have a vowel too and a plosive. All right. So let's wrong with that. So I'm going to close this and work with something else so that we can see basically. I do some annotations. Just sounds. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be working with the files. All right. Okay. Yes. So now let me go a bit closer. Selected. Okay, so you can see it a bit closer now, right? I believe you can see it a bit closer. Okay, I'm the one playing Shala listen. Yeah, that's my background music. Right? Just enjoy with me. Okay. Yeah. So now, how do we recognize it? Now, let me talk a bit about general properties of formants. Okay, let me talk a bit about general properties of formants, and then would now right here we have a lot of Sorry, I'm trying to fix the screen. Okay. Now, right now we have a lot of sound files. Okay. Now, one thing about acoustics is that some of these things are identifiable. Now, one thing. Let me start with fricatives. What do we know to be? What are fricatives per se? Let's start with that. What are fricatives? Let's see if we can still remember our basic phonetic sounds in our IP charts. What are fricatives? What are plosives? Yeah, so let's respond to that. What is a plosive? What is a fricative? What is an affricate? What is an approximant? Yeah, what is a trill? What is a tap? So can we have that? I'm waiting for our responses. I'm waiting for our responses, please. Are we there? I'm still waiting for our responses. Are we here? Are we here? Are we here? I can see quite a number of us on the call. So nobody's answering me. What is a fricative? What is an affricate? What is a plosive and the likes? I'm still waiting. Are we there at all? Are we here? I'm waiting for us. So please, can we be first so that I'm asking that so that I can know how to, explain things to us on the spectrograph. Are we here? Are we here? Are we here? Anyway, nobody's responding. So let me just say this. Now, one feature of fricatives, affricates, is that they have there's something, there's the phase, the articulation phase. We have the opening phase, we have the closure phase, we have the shorten phase, we have the release phase, right? Now, one thing about plosives is that they complete that cycle. They have the closure, they have the shorten, they have the shorten, they have the closure, they have the release. So, for example, a plosive is like this, then it's held for a short while, then released. So this is like the closure, the shorten, then it can go for as long as possible, then the release, right? Okay. Sorry. Let me unmute everybody. Sorry. I was hoping that we're going to drop it as messages, but let me just unmute everybody. So yeah, everybody can talk now. So you can talk now. So I talked about the plosive. You can tell me about. Thank you very much, Conf. You can tell me about fricatives and the likes. Who wants to help us out with that? So who wants to help us with that? I think I've unmuted everybody. I'm still waiting. I think I've unmuted everybody. I think so. So, yep. So while I'm waiting for us to talk, is anyone okay? Sorry, Oyenio. Yes. So we can speak, please. You can speak.
No.
Yes, I think I have some. Yes. I'm listening. So please, can you just let me have your name? Then you tell us. Okay, I think that's Annie Ruth. Yeah? Hello. Okay, let me just continue. So I believe we know some of this. Yes. Let me have your Ajay.
I Fricatives are sounds that are produced
Yes.
with two articulators so close to each other, such that there is
Yes.
only narrow opening for the
Okay.
ear strings to pass through.
Fredit, Anna, please can you just mute for a while so that when Ajay is done, you can talk. Thank you. Ajay, I'm with you.
I said fricatives are sounds that are produced when the two articulators are so close together, such that there's only a narrow opening or space for the ear to pass through. In most cases, they're
Okay. All
called
right.
Easton effects.
Yes. So that means one key thing about fricative is the easing effect, right? I believe we all agree with that. So I believe we agree with that, the easing effect.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at my spectrograph here, is there any sound with maybe that looks like it has an easing effect? Okay. Is there anything that looks like that? Maybe can you guess anything that looks like that from the the spectrograph that you're seeing there? Let me remove the IPS symbols so I can see clearly. So anyone? I'm waiting. Anyone? Anyone? If you want to answer that, you can. Now, if you look at this, okay. Now, before I talk about, let me just give you basic features of the sounds. All right. Now, one thing about vowels is that I believe you guys know what's called formants. That's how you recognize vowels. Okay. No. Okay. I just said no. Now, formants are like the frequency values of vowel sounds. Okay, and only vowels have formants. Now, it's possible for nasals to have something like formants. So you'll be wondering what are formants on the spectrum. Now, you see these red lines. Come in. You see these red lines here. Okay, you see that they're on top of some lines. So if you see this really dark spots, those are the formants. So basically, we can have like up to 5 formants: F1, F2, F3, F4, right? But a lot of times, what we need to identify those basic vowel sounds are just the first three formats. Okay, we can use other ones, but the first three are basically what we use a lot of times. So we identify vowels by their formants, by their formants. Okay. Now, nasals can have something that looks like formants, but they're called pseudo formants. Okay. How do we know that? Now, fricative, I talk about hissing sensation. So, okay, I'll talk about plosives very soon, but let's talk about vowels first. Now, if you look at this, let me play this out to you guys. James. Now, James, I don't know if you heard that. This your sentence. James said. That's James said. Now, if you look at this first part, you see that there's an hissing sensation. Now, that is an affricate. All right, that is an affricate, and it is so because you see that hissing sensation because it also has frication. So there's that hissing sound. That accompanies fricatives. That is why we have that. Okay, is someone talking? I think that's Erin. Abby? I don't know. Are you guys with me? Are you guys getting what I'm saying? Presumably, you guys are getting what I'm saying. All right. So now that is how we identify anything with frication. So if you see something like the one I highlighted, that is most likely a fricative or an affricate. All right. That's either a fricative or an affricate. I'm sorry that my sound bars are quite bad because of the voice is not being clear because of the whole situation. Okay, now let me talk about plosives. Now, one thing about plosives, if you want to identify a plosive, is you know the behavior of a plosive by the vowel that is next to it. Now, I talked about vowels. Okay, now let me play this. Let me play this whole thing. James. Now that's James. Okay. Now this is easy to tell us that this is something with a frication. So you can see this dark bar. Now, when you have heavy noise, you have this dark bar at the top. Now, if it's a voiced fricative, you have the dark bar to under. That will tell you that it's a bit of voice. It has a bit of voicing or not. So if it has underneath, then you can guess that it's voiced or voices. Now let me come back to this. Okay. James, please let me know if you're with me. You can just occasionally let me know, unmute yourself. Let me know if you are with me, and if it's just a chat that you want to drop, then just drop that. All right. So just let me know if you're following. I can see over here. Good evening, sir. Okay. Now, so we have this A. Right? A. Now, how do I know that is a vowel? Number one, you can see that these 4 bars, these dark bars here are very thick. They are very, very obvious, meaning that is a vowel. But now, how do I know what vowel I'm dealing with? All right. So now I need you guys to pay close attention here with what I'm about to say. Now, Fizzy. Okay. I need you guys to pay close attention. Now, formants generally are known to have some certain behaviors. Okay, and I believe if you take note of this, it's going to help you very well in your practice, because one thing you have to do is you have to practice. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll just put down, sorry. Okay, I believe that's out already. So one thing is that now, number one, I believe you guys remember the structure of the IPA chart. Do you remember the structure of the IPA chart? I mean, sorry, the vowel chart, the IPA vowel chart. How does it look like? Anybody wants to help us with that? How does that look like? The IP vowel chart. How does it look like? Anybody wants to help us with that? I'm really hoping that we'll respond very fast so I can move quickly. Let me see if I can get a picture of that too while I'm waiting for responses. I'm waiting for also. Anybody? I'm still waiting. Okay, I think I found a picture of voucher. So I'll just use that to explain. I'll use that to explain. Yes, this should do. What we have here should do. So I'll be sharing with you my browser screen now so that you see what I have here. And then I'll explain the general behavior of formats with that. Okay. That's my browser screen. Not saying, okay, yes. So this is my browser screen. I believe you can see it. I believe you can see my browser screen. Sorry, pardon the network. Okay, yes, so we have it. Let me just pick this one. That should help us out. Whatever we're trying to illustrate. Okay, now you see that there's this like a trapezium, like a trapeze shape of the whole IPA chart. I don't know why this is not open yet. But now, so this is it. Now you realize that first of all, the IPA charts, the vowel chart are structured in terms of left and right. So we have the ones on the left, we have the ones on the right. All right. Now, the ones on the left is unrounded, the ones on the right is rounded. So for these close, sorry, I'm trying to see if I could open this bigger. Open the image in your chat, please. Yeah. So now, for the ones on the right, it is voiceless, like I said. I mean, sorry, it is unrounded. The ones on the left, sorry, what am I saying? The ones on the left is unrounded. The ones on the right is rounded. So, for example, the E and the E that we have here, do you know why this is so small? All right. Now, for example, this E, everything on this side is unrounded. Everything next to it is rounded. We have the same thing, you know, they're in pairs. So this E is unrounded, this is rounded. This is rounded, this is rounded, this is unrounded, this is rounded, unrounded, rounded, this is neutral. You know, this is unrounded, this is rounded, this is neutral too. This is rounded, okay? This is unrounded, this is rounded, unrounded, rounded, unrounded, rounded, unrounded, rounded. That's how the vowel chart works. Now, they all exhibit a similar pattern when it comes to the vowel, the formant behavior. That's how we can recognize them in structure. Now, we have what we call F1. Okay, what do I mean by F1? We have F1, F2, F3, like I spoke about the other time. So I'll return to the spectrograph at this moment to explain what I mean by that. Okay, so that you can get what I'm saying. Now, on my spectrogram, let me zoom in a bit. Okay. Now you can see these four bands. This is band 1, this is band 2, this is band 3, this is band 4, this is band 5. Now this is F1, this is F2, this is F3, this is F4, this is F5. I believe you can see the lines. Let me see if I can see one that is a bit clearer. Maybe that can help me with a better illustration. Okay. said it was good. Okay, yeah, I think I have this set. So now let's look at this. We have this one, that's the first formant, this is the second formant, this is the third, others are not visible. So these are the formants that we are after. All right, I will thank you very much, Ajayi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Okay. So I would be showing the picture and then I'll just share that with us so we can see. Yes. So I believe we can see now the vowel. So now, like I said, who is that sharing the screen? Who is that? Okay. All right. Olatoba, we can see your screen, please. So now we have so I spoke about this unrounded, this is rounded, this is unrounded, this is rounded, this is unrounded, this is rounded. Now F1, okay, please pay attention. F1, sorry, okay, sorry about the old stuff. Now F1 for all these vowels operates in a particular pattern. F1 increases from the top downwards. So which means that the higher the vowel is on the spectrogram, on the vowel chart, the lower the F1 value. So which means that F1 increases downwards. What does that tell us? The F1 value of O is lower to that of O. That of O is lower to that of O. That of O is lower to that of R. So which means that the vowel at the top has the lowest F1 value and the vowel at the bottom has the highest F1 value. I don't know if you got that. Someone can help us. We'll probably take in notes so that you can just send it out later on. The vowel at the top has the lowest F1 value. The vowel at the bottom has the highest. So which means that if you have to compare E and R, E will have so if the F1 value of E is 45 Hertz, the F1 value of R would be way higher, okay, relative to E. I get to my point. So that is how it increases. So that tells us that if we come to our spectrograph, for example, and we're comparing, so when we're done, I will record the 5 hours of Yoruba, and then we'll examine them. I will see what I'm saying, okay? Now, when it comes to F2, okay, F2 increases from O to E. So F2 increases this way. I don't know if you get that direction. It increases in a clockwise direction. It comes this way. So meaning if you are comparing both F1 and F2, O we have a low F1 and a low F2 compared to R. I get to my point. So F2 increases this way. O is higher than U, O is higher than O, R is higher than O, is higher than R is higher than is higher than R, is higher than A is higher than E is higher than A. Same thing with their rounded and unrounded, their rounded counterparts. That's one general principle. It increases this way. So the F1 of E and O will almost be the same, but the F2 of E and O will be different because E is at the front. So you get how it increases that way. Now when it comes to F3, now when a vowel is rounded, okay, that's the protrusion of the lips, like U, and all that. Now F3 is lower. Okay, so when a sound is rounded, like this one, F3 is lower. While compared to their unrounded counterparts, for the unrounded vowels, F3 is higher. For the rounded vowels, F3 is lower. All right. Now, when a vowel sound occurs towards the back of the vowel chart, F3 is also lower. So the F3 of U will be lower than that of E. Why? Because it's lower. It is at the back. It comes towards the back. So F3 reduces with backness. F3 reduces with protrusion. I don't know if you understood those basic guidelines. Let me repeat it again. Number one, F3. You said I can hear someone. I can hear someone's voice. Okay. So I said. You said comfy.
Hi, good evening. Please, can you repeat what you just said? Like F.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it now. I'm going to repeat now. I said F1. Okay. F1 increases. I'm going to type that now. F1 increases downwards. So the sound at the bottom of the chart would have an higher F1 value compared to the one at the top. I think we can see that. So that is why that is for F1. Okay, that's for F1 increases downwards. F2 increases clockwise from O to E. From O to E. F2 increases clockwise from O to E. I think that one is quite simpler. So yes, another one, F2. Yeah, I think I'm right. F2 also, yeah. So F2 also increases forward, towards the front of the chart. Now F2 also increases in that direction. So a sound towards the front of the chart would have an IF2 compared to the one at the back. I don't know if you understood that, right? So I think we get that. So let me talk about F3. I said F3 decreases with protrusion and with protrusion. Sorry. Yeah, protrusion, yeah, and backness. With protrusion and with backness. So what that means is that okay, so basically this is the code. F1 tells you how high the vowel is. So a low F1 tells you that is a high vowel. A high F1 tells you the lower vowel. All right. F2 tells you that tells you how far back it is. So I believe you understand what that means. All right. Then for F3, I think I already said that with protrusion or with backness. All right. Protrusion or backness. Protrusion or backness. Okay. So okay, thank you for those reactions. Thank you for those reactions. All right, so let's continue. Now, when you understand that, it helps you to identify the vowels. Okay, you can easily predict where a vowel is, all right, compared to the other. So you could, and then compare with your ears, okay? You have to, if it's a listening test, use your ears. If it's a visual test, then you have to just be able to recognize these three things, those three principles, then you now work with that. So I'm going to come to my spectrogram version, but let me make some general comments about fricatives and all those things. Now, when it comes to how do you recognize plosives? Now, plosives is recognized by what we call a burst line. What do I mean by a burst line? Let me move us back to the spectrogram. the burst line. Now, burst line. So now if you look at the spectrograph, you see that, I don't know, unless I have a very bad rendering here. Unless I have a very bad rendering. Sorry, unless I have a very bad. Yes. This is one. I see one here. Come to school. Okay, so let me come here to come to school. So he was going to come to school. Let me select that. Now we have he was going to come to school. Now there's a plosive there, that's the car. He was going to come to school. So now if you look at this, come. Now if you look at this place close, you see like there's a darker line here. Okay, if you look at this place, there's a darker line. You see that this is our two to come. So you see that both ta, we remember that both ta and ka are plosives, right? Both ta and ka are plosives. All right. Now, if ta and ka are plosives, then that is why they are giving us that darkness, that single straight line. That's what we call a burst line, shortly before the vowel. All right. So whenever you say a burst line occurring before the vowel, you know that you're dealing with a plosive. I don't know if you get my point. So let me type that. I believe you guys are taking notes. Plosives are known by a peak burst line before the next vowel. Yes, that's how you get nice plosives. So now I talked about how do you know if something is voiced or not voiced. I talked about it having a dark stuff. Now you see this has no darkness here. That this is a vowel. This has no darkness here. Why? Because it is not voiced. Okay. Now, but if you look at this, it's that there's a bit of space between the burst line and the beginning of the vowel. This is where my vowel begins. Now you also see that that's not just my vowel. That's a vowel and a nasal. That's like come. Okay. Then play it again. Come. So you see the ka starting here because that's where my burst line is. Now this gap here, okay, where the k occurs, that is a sign of aspiration. Okay, aspiration, which we know as a voice onset timing. VOT, voice onset timing. That is how we know that. You know, that's why we have that space in between. Okay, so we have that space in between. We have that. Then now we have this also. You can see that it's a bit. Now it looks like it has a format. If you look at it with this, you will almost mistake it. But that is not true. This is a vowel. I mean, this is a nasal. Also, you have this dark spot on them to tell you that it is voiced, and then the other part is empty because it is just a nasal. So it might look like it has formants. I think I had a case of that somewhere here. James said, aha, we have that in James. So let me select this, James. So James, so we have this is our J, this is our A, James. I will come back to why I said this is A, just because I can hear it go. Now we have the you could say the voice bar. Telling us that this is a voiced sound. Okay, this is a voice sound. Now you see this darkness, telling us that it's a nasal. It's almost having this formant here, almost crossing into it, but it's not. If I show the formant stuff here, see that Praat is speaking it as having formant, but it does not have formant. It's called pseudo formant. Pseudo formant. So nasals are known to have pseudo formant. Nasals have pseudo format. Nasals have pseudo format. Thank you very much for that, Shadi. I'm grateful for that. Nasals have pseudo format. Nasals have pseudo format. Thank you very much. Nasals have pseudo format. So let me pin that. Nasals have pseudo format. Nasals have pseudo format. Yes. Nasals have pseudo format. So that's how you recognize that. Okay. Now, I talked about nasal. So how do you recognize different kinds of the um, consonants? You recognize that based on the way they affect the vowels. I'm looking for something here. I'm not sure I have it supposed to be on my I've talked about nasals. Let me talk about approximant. Okay. Um, sorry, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. So yes, approximants also have to be like vowels. Okay. Approximants also have a bit like vowels, but it's just that compared to vowels, they don't have a dark formant bar. You don't have the darkness of the vowels. They have it lighter. So they might, because approximants are more or less like weak vowels, light formations and the like. So they have that coloring, but it's very light. Okay. It's quite light. So that's how you recognize them. So now, for example, if you look at my pronunciation here, James said he was going to come to school. Now, I could easily tell that this one, this one, this one here, something here, most likely have frication. So how do I confirm that? If I play this, automatically that's a fricative. That's something with a fricative, but that is not a fricative. That's an affricate. Okay. How do I know that? Because now affricate, because it's a stop. A lot of times you have a burst line here, right? You should have a burst line. Then I know that this is my vowel. Now, if you look at this, that's a voice box, a voice bar, like my vowel, but it's not. It's just telling me that is voiced, okay, and it is still a nasal. So if I'm going to annotate this now, I know that this is a jar. So let me switch my keyboard to an IP. Yeah. So I know that this is a jar. So I'm going to write something like a jar. Then this is James. Now let me zoom in a bit so that you will see clearly what I'm doing. Now this is James said. Now I spoke about this. It is easier for me to just conclude that, oh, maybe that's the totality of my vowel, but that is not. Why? Because there's something the formant goes lighter here at this point. So I know that that's where my vowel ends. So this is my vowel. That is A. Okay, now this is my nasal. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if there's something if there's anything I'm missing out. Uh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, I can't find what I'm looking for. I used to have it, but maybe when I get it, I would forward it to us as a document. Okay, I'll forward it to us as a document, and then we can study it on our own, which is how to recognize the places of articulations. I used to have something like that, but we just talk about the general principles, practice, then I'll send you the stuff. So now, like I said, this is how I know that this is a James nasal because of this darkness and this voice box, even though it's after a vowel, but I know that it's not a vowel, so that's my Now, this automatically tells me that this is a fricative, automatically. I mean, something that has frication, not necessarily fricative, but it has frication. Right? I hope we're still together. Yes, I believe we're still together. So that tells me that, so I can say that this is, now if I play that, that is a sa. Okay, said. Now this is another one. The heaviness of this place already tells me that that's a fricative. So I can add something there. So on and on and on and on like that. So that is how you identify these things. Now let me I said I was going to tell us how to differentiate the vowels, all right? So I was going to tell us how to differentiate the vowels. So let me record some set of vowels now, the 5 basic vowels of Yoruba, and then I would do that. Then I'll take questions before I probably, wrap up and all that. So please, I hope you guys are getting what I'm explaining. I'm just trying to work with time because I know it's late already. This is past 9. I'm sorry we really started late. I'm so sorry about that. It's not intentional. So I just record the 5 hours of Yoruba now, and would work on them together. All right. So now for the 5 hours of Yoruba that we're recording, we'll try to examine all of them together using the basic principles of format that I told you about. Okay. So let's do that. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. All right. Now, I know that you guys heard me, articulating them, but that is just because who is our Chinese friend? Vico. All right. So, I'm sure you guys heard me, all right, but now let's work on it together. Let's see how it works. Okay, so I'm just going to all these things that I'm doing right now. We'll talk about it later on, maybe in that session. I believe if time permits, we should look at something like this on the community soon. So permit me to say this that as also I've said it before, welcome to the TalkLin community. ComWEnity. I call it community. So we held a training here at UI sometimes ago, and it was basically on some tools, some linguistic tools that we could use to facilitate good project management, data collection, and the likes. And so from there, we decided to have a community. So what is TalkLin exactly? TalkLin NG is a brand, is a linguistic brand, so to speak, that is concerned about linguistic communication, that is exposing the field of linguistics to people beyond the field. I realized that a lot of us that studied linguistics did not know what it was. We just came into school. Some of us chose it, but we didn't know what it was. Some of us were offered the course, maybe because we didn't meet up a cut mark. If you're here like that, maybe you didn't choose it, but they give you. You can just type, I chose it, I didn't choose it, they gave me, so like just let me know the experience with it. So just to do linguistic communication, let people know what linguistics is all about beyond the academic space, have a community where we help ourselves, have, linguistic students, and then, advocate for indigenous languages. One of the things talking does heavily is advocate for indigenous languages, ensure that indigenous languages are catered for, particularly the endangered ones. We do documentation and all that stuff. Okay, that's what talking is about. So presently talking is a podcast. Okay, but something like this is some of the things we do at talking, trainings, chats, conversations that just help us develop ourselves as linguists, particularly undergraduates and the like. So we have further questions to talk about that later. So let's get back to our spectral frequency. So now I'll zoom in. Let me remove some of this space. Sorry. Remove some of this space. Oh, sorry, I can't do that here. I can't do that here. Sorry, just a minute. I need to remove the spaces in between the sounds so that we have them closer. That's too big. Just a minute. Sorry, I'm almost done. Yes, I think I'm done. Skill times. Okay, if I need it. Okay, so I should have it on the screen. 5. 2, 3, 1. Voila. That's it. So now this is it. Okay. Now we are all going to identify which is which. Okay. We are going to identify which is which. Now look at this. Let me zoom on this two first. Select. Now I gave us the basic rules of formats. Okay. Who can remind me the three basic rules I talked about, the first three formats. You can remind me of that. Anybody? I want to have our feedback, please. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Oh yeah, oh. We are here. We are much here on the call, though. At least we should be like not less than 50 here. So I'm waiting for us to respond. What are the three things I told us earlier? Who's answering us? Should I mention names? Okay, Rhoda is typing. Thank you very much, Rhoda. Who else? If you want to talk, you can unmute yourself and talk. It's not a problem. Okay. I'm waiting for Rhoda. I'm waiting for Rhoda. I'm waiting for Rhoda. I see Rhoda typing. Sorry for the break. I'm just trying to see that I get a feedback. So that I continue. Okay, seems like Rhoda is writing it. That's awesome. Rhoda, now you are the root. Wow, we spent almost an hour. Okay, someone is talking. Okay,
You
yes.
said that if the F1 is high, then it denotes that the vowel is a low vowel. And then if the F1
Yes.
is low, and then it shows that the vowel is a high one. And you talked about
Thank
the
you.
F2, that
Yep.
the F2 increases clockwise from U to
Yes.
E, from O to E. And then
Yes.
you mentioned the F3 as well, that it denotes the roundedness and the backwardness of the vowel.
Yes. Finally, I can see Rhoda's thesis. Thank you very much, Rhoda, for your thesis. Yeah. Thank you for telling us about the F1 Ajay. Thank you very much. I think I saw Ola Yode or somebody typing. What's the name again? I saw a name, Ola something, trying to type earlier. It's okay. Thank you very much, guys. So now, look at the two that I have here and guess which is which. Okay, let me zoom all in. Let me see if I can scale them a bit to be a bit closer. You know, let me modify it a bit. So I'm waiting now. And if I may ask, your exam is on what day?
On Saturday.
On Saturday. Okay, okay, on Saturday. What time on Saturday? Is that
8 a.m.
8 a.m.?
Yes.
So yeah, I made the
Oh, 12 to
spectrogram
3. 12 to 3.
12 to 3. Okay. Uh, I'm saying 4. Sorry, I'm gonna have to close this so that I can. Yes, so I have it better now. I have it better now. Sorry, I was just trying to sort out the visibility. Okay, so now we have it. So that's it. So which of them is which? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? The first one, we have the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. So can you look at it closely? Who can guess? What's the first vowel? Who's answering us? Since I'm not getting responses, I don't know why, but we just have to move quickly. So now let me select these three. Now remember I said F1. Okay, F1 is, if the F1 is high, that means it is lower. Okay, so a high F1 tells you is a lower vowel, and a low F1 tells you it's a high vowel. Now look at these three. You see that the F1 is occurring at different places. You see this one here. Okay, let me see. Let me show formants. Okay, let me show you formants. Now, if you see, so this first one here. Okay, I'm coming. Let me select them here. So I have this. Okay, yeah. So good. So if you look at this guy, you see that this one starts here, this second one starts here, this one starts here. So it tells you that this is a vowel that is lower than this, and this is higher than this. I don't know if you get my point. Okay, so you can see with the F1 that these are different vowels. Okay, now you see that the F3 is a bit at the top part. This is F2, F3 is somewhere here, F3. They are high. Why? Because they are not rounded and they are not towards the back of the chart, as we would say. All right. Thank you, Dami, for that response. Okay, sorry. Thank you very much for that. So we have that here. Now, if you look at F2, remember the picture of F2. F2 increases from O to A. All right. So now, if we go to all, this is supposed to be my I wish there's a way I could make this thing bigger and we'll still see everything, but it's impossible. But now, basically, if you compare, what you have to look out for are these dark spots. Okay, I call them dark spots. It tells you where you're looking. For example, if you look at it closely, you see that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 1, this is 2. 3 is not visible. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. I think this is 1, 2, 1 and 2 are here together. 1 and 2 are here together. Something like that. So when you see that, you're able to know where each is. Okay. For example, O, okay. Now for these ones, okay. Now for this O and O, their F3 will be lower. Why? Because they are towards the back one and they are rounded. Compared to R, A, F, E, they are not. Now if you look at E, E will have the highest. E will have the highest. E will have the lowest F1. E and O, you see that their F1s are low here and here. Compared to R, that is higher here. Compared to A, A is closer to E because after E on the chart is A. O is closer to E and to O because after E it's after O it's O. O is a bit at the top. Now for F2, you see that F2 increases from O. O is low, O is lowest, increases to this is O. This is O, is that it's up a bit, up. This is E. E is also low because you know E is supposed to be higher. So we have our F2 here. We have this is A, you know, it's I. This is A. You can see that A is higher, then I is like at the middle. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, same thing for F3. You can just look at it that way. I don't even get my point. I believe I'm making sense. So now those are ways you identify the formant values generally. Okay, let me take questions now, and we'll see where we'll move on to from there. So questions, please. Questions. Let me have our questions, please. Let me have our questions at this moment. Can I have our questions? Okay, Ajay, I wrote that typing. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You just drop your questions in the questions and request session. Questions and request session, so that I can easily track them from there. And if you want to talk, if you're free to talk, I believe I've unmuted everybody. Yes, so everybody, you are free to speak if you want to speak. Sorry, Rhoda is muted. Dami is muted. I've unmuted all of you now. So please, if you want to talk, you can talk, please. So I'm waiting. Okay, for the E sound, yes. Couldn't get the part for F1 and F2. Is it that they're below the red line? I don't understand the role of F3 for the E sound. Okay, where is F3? The format seems too close. Oh, yeah, so let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. This is how it will be printed for you. So a lot of times you might have that issue. Let me zoom into this three. This is IAN. Okay. What other questions am I having? Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you. I'm expecting questions. Any other questions? Okay. Any other questions? It seems no other one. So let me just F3. Now let me show. There's a tool here that helps me show formats. I believe you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, you guys can see what I'm doing. You guys can see what I'm doing. So now this line here, these red lines, these red dots. Let me see if I can look at a straight line. Let me see if I can look at a straight line. Pencil. Adjust my settings. Okay, it's showing speckles. So I would have so basically these red dots are the formats. This is F1, that's F1. This is F2. This is F2, this one, this is F3, this is F4. They are not straight because of the way human sounds behave and blend and all that. This is for this one, this is F1, this is F2, this is F3, this is F4. Now I said let me check the questions again so I can answer them properly. Yeah, the formats are, I mean, when they are choked like that, they can be a bit confusing. So you have to know the rules, okay? Then that helps you pick and figure out which is which. So like I said, Rhoda, I believe I should be answering your question. Role of F3, Nifi. F3 is basically for roundedness. That's the protrusion of the lips. So U and U. So for example, for U rather, U will have a higher F3, while U they have a lower F3. Okay. You see that we don't really have that distinction in Yoruba because we don't have the rounded and unrounded we have E without E, we have U without A. I don't know if you get my point. We have A without A, get that kind of thing. So that's what we unique features to each vowel sound. Particularly I can say so for Ajayi now. I believe I've answered your question, Nifi. Please let me know if I've answered your question. Please let me know. Are there unique features? Per se, I can't really see that they are specific, particularly if they're going to be looking at it on paper. I can see there's this how you do this, but using those principles to compare, it is easier for you to figure out which is which. Okay, that's for Ajayi's question. Where's F3? I think I've answered that one. Yeah, I believe I've answered the questions that came in. Please let me know if you need clarity on the questions so that I could further on. Okay. Okay, because we have many vowel sounds that are high and those low as well. So yes, so now it's like a is it parametric variation? Now what's the word? Linguistics here is what I ordered versus what I got. Are you saying linguistics in Ife or what? Is it linguistics in Ife or linguistics generally? Linguistics in Ife. Ah, well, I think almost everybody has that story. How do you tell E from A? So now, if you were working with Praat, okay, it will be easier by maybe by getting the formal measurement, okay. But you're going to be looking at it from a paper. So what we have to do is basically understand the rules and just know that this is higher than this. Okay, then you can say, oh, I think this will be this. Okay. But if you probably maybe another time, I believe you guys would have the time to because we're going to be hosting monthly training sessions here in this community. We'll get to train ourselves with some certain tools. And maybe one of these is we actually have a serious um, Pratt training. I might not be the only one taking it because there are a lot of things that I don't know about Pratt. I have senior colleagues who do know. I will bring them in, the teachers, they help us, and we get better with it. But for now, I believe my job is just to ensure that you know the basics and the goals that can help you, get on with the exams. I'm trying to see. Uh, there's a document I'm trying to find. The 3, 4. I hope I find it. If I find it, there's a material from my undergraduate that I have. That if I find it, should help out. How can we say fricative shares? Can we say fricative shares the same IF we don't so? Now, fricatives, all consonants do not have formant values. I think that's one thing we should bear in mind. Fricatives don't have formant values. They don't have formant values at all. Why? Because they are not. Formant basically works for vowels. Get my point? Formant basically works for vowels. The only thing that is closer to that, okay, is the approximant, which have a bit of they have lighter shades, okay, and we also have the nasals, which have pseudo formants. They are not formants. It's just okay. That's why Pratt can track the based on that. Okay, so fricatives. When you see a consonant, forget it does not have just approximant because of their um they lack the shorting, they lack the closure phase because approximants come together like this. Okay, in fact, so they have, so let's say this is the phase where the sound goes on. This is my shorting. So the shorting is like this. There's enough space in between for it to go through. For plosives operate this kind of structure. You know, we have the shorting, then the closure, it's then we have the release. So it's short, yeah, shorten, closure, shorten, release. For fricatives, we have closure, you know, the space is open. Then we have the short, the space is still a bit wide open. Then we have the release. Something like that. But for approximant, what we have is just the shorting, which is very wide, and it continues like that. That's the closure. Not much closure. For affricates, what we have for affricates is a shorten, a closure because of the closure. Then we have the opening. You get. So that's how it works. So fricatives don't have comments and the likes. Okay. Any other one? Any other question? Yes, I think I'm hearing someone's voice. Please, if you're the one, let me know. Please let me know. Let me know. I'm still here with us. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Okay, my Chinese friend is typing. Okay, I have a question. Explain what you just said now to the screen, how it works. So for fricative, right? So I'll have to go back to the first one to the first one I did here. So let me show you the first one I recorded. So that will work with that, and then I think that will explain it better. Okay, yep. So now let me come here. I believe if you see this, James said. Now if you see this fricative, you see that there's nothing even format like. Now if I show formats, Praat can track something there. Praat will always have something to track. It's not his fault. It's the programming. Now, okay, let me type what sound is here for the sake of yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. So now I believe you can see this. Now, you see the noise at the top. You see the noise at this jar too. James said, J. So you can see the noise at the top, the noise at the top, the noise at the top. So that is what works with it. Fricatives do not have. So okay, closure, stop, and release. Well, that's not something. That's just like a description of the articulatory organs. Okay, that's not something you do with part. Part is not really. Part is just for acoustics. That's acoustics, like I said at the beginning, is the physical part. Okay, so part does not run that for you. Part does not show you that. I just had to make that statement just to explain something. Okay. So now, for example, if you look at these two vowels, I have two vowels here. I have A and I have A also. I see that they almost share the same F1. Okay, but the F1 of A is higher than that of A. Why? Because like I said earlier, F1 increases, the higher the F1, that means is a low vowel. The lower the F1 is a high vowel. So you can see that between F and F. For F2, you can see that the F2 of A here is higher than the F2 of A. I don't get my point. For F3 is almost the same thing. Why? Because both of them are both at the front and they're not round. I don't know if you understood that. All right, thank you very much. Any other questions? Any further questions? I'm waiting for a space. Any further questions? Any further questions? Any further questions? I'm waiting. Any further questions? I'm waiting. Any further questions, please? Okay, I can see material here. Nice. So I can find some materials I'm seeing some materials on my Google Drive. I believe it can be helpful. So please I would say that close to these materials with utmost confidentiality. Okay, I believe they will help out. Yes. Any further questions? We are okay, Ajayi. I'm seeing you typing. This is what we're trying. Okay. My Chinese friend, I thought I saw you typing. My Chinese friend, please tell me what's your name. Ajogo is typing. Thank you. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to enjoy my song. So, are we good? Are we good? Let me know. Are we good? Yeah, Bruce. Thank you very much. I can hear you. Where are the feedback? So this is to 10. I think my phone. Okay, the more I die, I'm seeing something from Rhoda. The more I dive into this course, the more I'm lost. Could there be a light at the end? Well, yes, at the end of the funnel, not even tunnel. Well, sure, acoustic phonetics is fun. I mean, acoustic phonetics is the basics of that's acoustic phonetics is very essential in forensics. Yeah, I mean, if you're probably interested in doing forensic linguistics, acoustic phonetics is interesting. So I hope that I'll be able to put something together. Maybe I'll just take note of that now. And maybe one of the sessions we'll have will get someone to come talk about it, the relevance of some of this practical stuff that we do. I find my pen interesting. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm trying to get my pen. Yep. So I can't find my pen. But let me just start that on my desktop for future's sake. For future's sake. Sorry. So comment. Okay. Any other question? Okay. I can see your message with my Chinese friend. I'm just going to reply him. Okay. Is there there's a particular level of parts that you consider to force? Okay. So now the thing is, if you are measuring, so if you are giving a laptop and you're giving Praat and say, okay, measure this thing, it's easier. Okay, it's easier because you can just, for that one you also have the audio, but it's because you can extract the values. But for paper, okay, unless they write for you, won't. But for paper, what you have to learn to do is to study the sounds, is to study them well, to know the behavior. That's why I started by talking about their general behavior, their general attributes. Get my point? That's why I started off with that, talking about, okay, this is how F1 behaves. Yes, is anyone talking? These are F1 behaves, these are F2 behaves, and all those things, I believe. So when you understand those principles, it helps you better. Okay, so then let me tell you the truth. I had something like this in my exam. that was on 300 level. Acoustics for me was 300 level course in 341 back then. And that's something like this. We had to, write out, read the spectrogram basically. We had to read it. And it was this general principle that helped us. So the other ones, an idea we use carrier. That's true. But it starts with you understanding, the basics. Okay, the basics of how formants operate generally for vowels, how a lot of sounds operate basically. So when you do that, when you've armed yourself with that knowledge, when that knowledge is resident in your arsenal, it's easier for you to practically manipulate your way. It's easier for you to, even if you're having maybe, so to speak, wrong assumptions, it's easier for you to have, if not accurate, but a near accurate what's the word now? A near accurate prediction, okay? Because practically you don't have other tools to measure. You're just trying to say that, okay, based on what I know to be the general behavior of formant, I believe that this is sorry, I'm trying to upload something here. Just a minute. So I just dropped something in the resources channel, so that should help us out there. So I just dropped something there. So I believe I answered your question in my Chinese, right? Okay, yeah. So I just put a document there now in the channel, so in the resources folder. So I believe that should help us. That should help us to some extent, on how to get things, understand things practically. I think I said would hold on to that. Just a minute. Interesting. Sorry, no vex. I was saying something else. So that one that I just dropped now should help us out. That should help us out. Okay. A written form. I think some of these things have been pinned. I think some of these properties have been pinned in the chat. There's some pinned messages. You could just click on the top. Someone else, Folashadi helped us pin some of this stuff. Yes, she helped us print some of this stuff earlier. So I believe we're good now. So, but you could just check the document, and if you have questions, you can just drop that later on. Then whenever I come online, I could, just reply. Is that okay by us? I can see Obadiah typing. Oh, that's great. So we can just use that document. And so I believe this is probably a safe place to maybe put a pause to the one we've done this evening. While I know it's not exhaustive, I know that it's not maybe all there is to talk about on the acoustics, right? I believe I've been able to communicate one or two things to us also. And like I said, if you have questions, you want to ask me, if you have things that are not clear, please just let me know in time, and I'll see if I can probably create the opportunity to others get to talk about it. And a lot of times I prefer that we talk about these things on this platform, because one of the essence of this platform is to develop a community. It's to get another class. Getting another class is a combination of many things. Number one is a combination of I have less work to do, there's data, there's light, because NEPA showed me I prepared, I was already set, and 15 minutes to start the class. Now that I can do, so I just had to find somewhere big and then get to ask that I be permitted to use their power source to get my phone. So basically that's how things work. So if it's possible, fine. If not, maybe I'll just attend to individual questions here and there. He said, you never tell me your name, I don't know your name. I think that's fair or not. Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah, 15 minutes I was only to play like. So it's a bit of a lot of things. In fact, I would say even though for my Evie. Okay, thank you, Evie. I hope I pronounced it well. Thank you very much. So, I'm not promising on that class, but God helps. This is a community, so you can drop your questions, we'll help each other. I believe that very soon some senior colleagues will be joining us, and they will have a full house, right? So do things, and let me say this, that first of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out to join the training. I mean, it would not have made sense if I just came online and then there's nobody here. It wouldn't have made sense. Thank you very much all for joining. I brought you guys out of wherever you were into, decisions you got into my Telegram community, and you guys joined without questions. Thank you very much. I would please ask that you guys stay on the community, because it's going to help. As a community, you check the name, it's a community. It's about all of us just helping each other. So thank you very much. I think one thing I didn't at the start was I didn't properly introduce myself, apart from what was there in the chat. So I'm Emmanuel Pupadegbu. I'm a creative. Yeah, I call myself a creative. I mean, the creative. Why? Because I'm a graphic designer. I'm into brand design. I do book publishing, book layout editing, and all that. So everything connected to those two things, I do that. And I'm a linguist. So what I do in linguistics, I love. I'm an advocate for indigenous languages. I love corpus linguistics. I love language and language application. I love fieldwork and research. I love those things a lot. Yeah. So that sums up what I do in linguistics again. So I'm more passionate about indigenous languages, so then thrive, so then develop and grow. That is what I love doing in linguistics. That is, I think that's short about me. I finished from UI, BA Linguistics. I'm doing my master's in linguistics, UI. Okay, linguistics is fun. I can tell you that. Linguistics is for what you need, just the right knowledge, the right attitude, the right perspective. I would recommend maybe 2 episodes of the podcast that you can listen to. I'll drop the link. You can just listen to it. Having issues getting it. And I believe that would help out. But if you have any questions generally about linguistics, you can just come around, drop it in the questions and requests. Maybe you want to request a class, a training, drop it there. You can DM me personally, WhatsApp or Telegram, whenever I come online. I'll definitely reply. You can reach out to Mr. Oba. Shout out to Mr. Oba. Yeah, Oba, thank you very much. I can see your heart for this, guys. Thank you for making this possible. I'm grateful to you. So you can just do that. And you can please invite your friends to be part of the community. It's all for us to grow. We are going to grow, right? We are meant to grow. Okay, we are meant to grow, right? So yeah, the session is recorded, and I will find a way to send it. It might just be heavy, okay, because it's video. It might be heavy, but we do it, all right? Thank you very much. I believe on this note we could close the conversations. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in tonight. I'm grateful. So very soon I'll be sending in a link, because I would like to add us all to an email list I put up for members of the community. So I'll just share information and all that with everybody. So if you won't mind, once I share the link, just drop register there, your name, details are provided there. So thank you very much. I wish you success. Yes, I should do this before we leave. So can we just take a moment to pray? I believe is something I would like to do. So I'll just pray with you guys for examinations. Father, in the name of Jesus. Father, thank you for the students. Thank you, Father, for you brought them in their life journey. Thank you for the academic journey up to this moment. You helped them and they're here thus far. Father, I ask for their exams. I declare that it's successful in the name of Jesus. The things we've learned tonight, they will remember them. They will internalize them. They will not forget it. Will be repeatable for them in the name of Jesus. And I pray there's many of them that are struggling with clarity, really trying to find out what they're out to do in linguistics and even life generally. I pray that you have clarity in the name of Jesus. Your eyes are opened, you know what to do. You do not lack wisdom, you do not lack help in the name of Jesus. You are brought into the understanding of purpose, of destiny. Your eyes are peeled, your eyes are opened, your mind is filled with ideas in the name of Jesus, and you are helped. In Jesus' name, I declare again over your exams, success in the name of Jesus. You have testimonies in the name of Jesus. You have testimonies in the name of Jesus. You have testimonies in the name of Jesus. You guys will come and share the testimonies with us all in the name of Jesus. I love you guys so much in Jesus' name. God bless you guys. Thank you very much. See you another time. Bye.